All right, third song down is called Candidate. It's 3 minutes and 5 seconds, and then Insight's the next one. So we're gonna find out which one has the laser sounds on it in Unknown Pleasure, which is an album by Joy Division, constructed in 1979 by Factory Records, which New Order ended up staying with after they transformed into New Order when they lost Ian Curtis. Factory Records stayed with them. So this is 1979. Let's see, I'm gonna look at it right now. And the song is called Insight. It's a Joy Division song on Unknown Pleasures. It's on the 4th tier, or it's the 4th song. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it's 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And it has ambient sounds on it. Like, there was another band that they liked that used music sounds from movies. Or even sound effects from movies, and they took from that band. And if you know that band, you're pretty smart with the post-punk. But I'll have to double check this to find out the name of the other band. But Joy Division did use sound effects in the recording of the song Insight, which is 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And probably I would think Ian Curtis's, it was his idea, because he worked very hardly to be like David Bowie. Look, there's the butterfly. He looked up to David Bowie, so David Bowie used ambient noises and sound effects and stuff on his recordings as well. So he probably got some of that idea from David Bowie, but there was another band that did it as well. And what was the name of that band besides Joy Division? All right, guys, we're coming to the area where I used to live, right off Darnell Street, right off here. And I lived in these apartments, which is now a modern art museum constructed by a Japanese guy named Ando. 1995, I had to leave that place, and they tore it all down and created the Modern Art Museum, which you get to walk around and look at. That was my old apartment. So enjoy. And there it is, Carnival Midway. We'll only be seeing it from the outside. Until certain people aren't here anymore. And they're all the way from Arkansas. Little Rock, that is. So the 5th song on Unknown Pleasures by Joy Division, 1979 album is New Day Dawns. It starts off with ambient noise, very low, like many of their intros, and it just kind of fades up. It's got a very odd drum signature. Time signature, I guess is what they call it. Kind of like this guy drives. Here. Real weird time signature. And the bass comes in, it goes dun 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 dun. Almost sounds like a vampire movie or something. Very crazy. New day dawns. You got a little bit of stuff in the road there. Annoying. I don't know. The time signature seems to kind of speed up and slow down with Joy Division. It'll kind of, get really intense, and then it'll just kind of get relaxed, and then intense, and then relaxed. New Day Dawns has a little bit of that. And just to have a correction, it's actually a New Day Fades. Or no, I'm sorry, a New Dawn Fades. So I got it all wrong. It's a New Dawn Fades is the actual correct way of saying it. A New Dawn Fades is the way he does it. On Joy Division's Unknown Pleasure, 1979. New Dawn Fades. Probably that one. Funny, the dad got the pizza, and he's like, kind of driving it in, going, pizza. So all his kids are like in there dancing around and stuff, and he gets the pizza. He's got like some kind of Italian meal or something. I'm handing it all to him. And then as the door opens, I'm walking off. He goes, pizza. Like making sure I'd hear it, People love to use their children to annoy other people. All right. Next delivery, 6:44, 10 minutes. We'll be there at 3.4 miles. Pizza. Let's get a recorder or get a microphone and a, you know, like a big speaker on top of my car, and I'll just drive around. Pizza. Like real annoying, you know. All right, back to Joy Division's Unknown Pleasure, 1979. The fifth song on the album, 4 minutes and 40 odd seconds. New Day Fades is the proper title on it. Actually, you know what? It's New Dawn Fades. It's a hard one to remember. New Dawn Fades. So New Dawn Fades. I think what a dawn is. So you've got dusk, which is basically when the sun sets. You have dawn when the sun rises. That's why it's kind of hard to remember, because a dawn does kind of fade once it goes into full light. So it's a new dawn fades. It's a very interesting kind of way of, and then, you know, that it's hard to remember for some reason, that new dawn fades. And there is what's known as the tower. Pizza. Come on, kids. Pizza. So number 6 on Unknown Pleasure, which is Joy Division's 1979, is She's Lost Control, which kind of has like this little don't. It's got like a upbeat kind of, you could dance to it, you know. And he's like, she's lost control, she lost control, she lost control. And it's like a real kind of emotional. So I've been instructed by a higher up company to call a certain person to make sure they don't get like free food, you know, make sure they get the right, you know, so that we give it to them. But I usually try to do that anyway, but it's one of those ones where you leave outside, you know, so I can see how they do that. But you know, if they don't pick up, what do I do then? We'll find out. All right, we got all this stock show traffic going on right now, and I'm trying to analyze She Lost Control Again from Joy Division's Unknown Pleasure. I think it's the 6th song. It happens. This is actually interesting too. It's Taco Heads. I've been in there several times. It's kind of cool. You know, they got like a little bar on the side. I do Taco Heads is what they call it. Yeah, it's just abnormally kind of crazy traffic with cones everywhere and who knows what, you know. Freaking cow goes flying. I don't know, they got all these cow trailers and everything. You never know if a cow gets loose. It's probably happened a couple of times where they have to go wrangle a cow in the middle of the road. Trust me, if one gets loose, you'll know about it. I'm trying to read this map. All right, next delivery, 6:56, 4 minutes, 1.3 miles. All right, another thing about Joy Division, they didn't have #1 hits on everything, but She Lost Control probably was a pretty big hit. I can tell just by listening to it. Another thing about She Lost Control is it sounds like they're beating on like a metal drum kind of thing or something weird. I don't know if this is stockyard traffic. I don't know what it is, but it's something, I guess, fire truck check or something. Cool tree right there. Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Sprockets. You ever seen Starting Out Live? The metal drum beat kind of thing. It's Sprockets, you know, and Mike Myers gets all kind of crazy. They're probably taking a little bit of that from Joy Division, maybe a little bit. It's fire truck. lost control again. No, 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 no. Look what this is right here. It's cool. Yeah, I found this one spot. It was like a retiree, you know, like an old folks home. And you just walk in and just do your laundry. I haven't done that yet, but I can't remember the name of it. I told Linda about it. It's like, you know, you just walk in this one room and they've got this whole laundry, you know, all these washer and dryers set up and they're all free to use. But you only can do it during the day and you have to be friendly to the old people. I wouldn't recommend it, but I don't do, I mean, if a lot of people did it, you know, they probably would care, you know, if too many people. Okay. That one looks like the 5, but it's actually not the 5. It's interesting. Probably this one. I see. Okay. Looks like it's the other one then. All right, now Shadow plays a very impressive song on Joy Division's Unknown Pleasure. It was 1979. Very impressive. It comes up with a lot of cymbals. Not a whole lot of ambient sound starting off, but it's very low. Like the sound is low and then it brings it up. They, you know, Factory Records did that a lot. They did in a few Smith songs too, because they, not that they worked necessarily with the Smiths, but they were both from Manchester. Joy Division and the Smiths. So it may have influenced because they listened to each other. But anyway, it does fade up and it has cymbals going, all these cymbals and everything. It's a very nice little song. Shadow Play is probably another hit that they may have had that did very well, especially in the UK. Also, the spacing between the guitar and the drums, all that matches on Shadow Play. It's very clear, you can understand it. It's one of their better songs. I'm a big fan of Shadow Play. Well, it looks like the Modern brought in all the lights. I don't know. It was like partial. And, well, I guess those three went, yeah, let's see. Well, those are still there. It's pretty cool. All right, next delivery, 7:24, 5 minutes, 2.8 miles. I'd say ultimately Shadow Play is my favorite song on the Unknown Pleasure. All right, next delivery, 7:40 on arrival, 9 minutes, 3.2 miles. All right, so going back to Joy Division. To really understand Joy Division, you have to study New Order a little bit. They have a documentary on YouTube about New Order. And they talk about how, they say that, you know, his name was Bernard Sumner. And his kind of weird name, it's not Bernard, but it's Bernard Sumner. He was one of the guitarists and ended up being the vocals on New Order, but he worked with Joy Division. And they always kind of talk about Ian Curtis contracting epilepsy, you know, and you don't really do that. You already have it, you know. You don't, it's not something that you contract. But he did, Ian Curtis worked with, he was like a social worker before he became a rock star. He worked with like almost like community service, helping people find work, and then like sometimes helping like maybe people that were probably mentally challenged to a certain degree. He may have been himself a little bit. We don't really know a lot about him. I don't know if he kept a journal. He probably did. New Order kind of said he didn't really like to do anything until he got up on stage. He was just kind of a nothing until he got up in front of the audience and became what he was. I don't really believe that. I think he was kind of someone that intensely studied things, maybe listened to a lot of music. But the movie Control, which is Anton Corbijn, kind of makes him like an outcast. He starts off walking down the street with this jacket, and on the back of it, it just says hate. But he wasn't a really hateful character. You know, he was a part of the community. He seemed to be sincere. He did marry. There was a kind of a mystic undercurrent to Ian Curtis. It was like a mystical thing that you didn't really see until he maybe started singing or until he started performing. He just, like, you know, he was kind of an average, not an average Joe, but he was still into like David Bowie, and he kind of was solemn, you know, but he still married and he still tried to function within society to a certain degree. And then, of course, you know, once the band took off, he became, you know, a rock star, which was somewhat planned, I guess, with the band, but it didn't last very long at all, you know, only a couple of years. And that may be why they're so legendary, because they don't have a lot of albums. I think they have a total of, what, maybe 3 albums? Also, I don't really understand his lyrics. I have to read them to really understand what he's saying. I mean, you can understand, like, you know, when he says like shadow play, but then he just goes into, but you can understand it too. I mean, it's like, you have to really listen to it, but it's, with him, just like a lot of other musicians and, you know, vocals, not as much as Bernard Sumner, you can understand him quite well. It may have been the vocals, but you just have to kind of like get the lyrics and follow along, and then you can understand him. But you can understand some words. I'm just not saying, like, you know, he wasn't all about the diction. It was more about the feeling behind his voice that makes him great, you know. But I don't know what I'm trying to say, really. I'm not trying to be mean or anything. It's just, plus, you know, he's coming with a Salford accent, you know. I can understand some of it, you know, and then some of it I have to, you know, go, what did he say, you know, and what's the lyrics? But a lot of songwriters that way, you know, and you get the wrong lyrics and stuff. So we'll talk about lyrics much later. Yeah, I mean, I gotta go back. Some of it I can't understand. I'm sorry about that. There's just a few words that I skip every once in a while. I guess you can't understand them. Never mind. Yeah, you can understand them. Some words you have trouble with, and other words you don't. Depending also on how the guitar sound is and everything else, you don't get every single word, but you get most of it. I think it was pretty understandable. You know, I did everything, something. You know. So it's called Hidden Creek. I've been down here before too. So something like, I've been in the center of the city at night, waiting for you. I was in the city, on the center, waiting for you. That's kind of what I hear sometimes. The center of the city at night, waiting for you. I've talked about this song before. I remember on the vlog a long time ago. All right, let's see here. Yep, maybe. It's either that one or the next one. Probably. And the light's on the other one though. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if anyone's there. All right, next delivery, 7:57, 10 minutes. We'll be there at 4.6 miles. Ooh, man. They might want to, I don't know. It's a tough one on that one. The incline is just amazingly steep. So Radio Transmission, of course, is a hit. It's actually, the song is called Transmission, and he sings radio, transmission, radio, transmission. He kind of had a demonic voice, you know, but it's a hit, you know, and it did air on television in the UK on a famous, like, music band kind of thing on BBC. Really well-known television personality introduced him. We'll talk about that later. So one thing about transmission, of course, is the ending of the song. It slows the drumming from a consistent drum beat. Also with the, like I guess you call it a bass drum, going boom boom randomly. Not randomly, but it sounds randomly, but it's actually in rhythm. Boom boom. Kind of reminding. And then there is the consistent drum beat that goes through it. Well, that all slows down in the end. It all just kind of starts to slow, as if you were slowing down your record player or tape player, and then it just kind of fades. All right, next delivery is 8:13, 9 minutes. We'll be there at 3.7 miles.